towards Aquitaine by British assaults, by their crusade, great incursions. Rains, frosts make the ground unsafe. Crescent port, strong invasions made. The blue head will make the white head as much harm that France has done them good. Hung tall upon the branch, the deadly antenna. When the king, taken by his own, asks, "How much?" The heat of the sun upon the sea, the fish half cooked at Negrepont, the inhabitants start eating them. When food fails them in Rhodes and Genoa. From Monaco to the point near Sicily, the entire coastline dead and desolate. No suburb, city, no town that the barbarians have not violated and pillaged. Weapons and instructions are shut up in the fish. One outside is able to make war. Through the sea his fleet well sailed, appearing near off the Latin coast. Beside the ports and within two cities, two scourges I never saw the like. Famine, plague inside, by steel people put out, crying for help from the great God immortal. Amongst many deported to the islands is the one born with 2 teeth in his mouth, to die of hunger, the trees to nibble, a new king for them, new edict forged. Churches consecrated the ancient Roman way, rejecting the tottering foundations, sticking to their first human laws, expelling but not altogether the worshipping of saints. The Thin One rules the kingdom in peace for 9 years. Into a bloody thirst he falls, without faith and law, death for his great people, killed by one more debonair. Before long, organized change, we await an age more sinister. The masked and solitary ones, role reversal. Few are happy in their places. The next son will succeed the dimwit, much raised in the powerful realm. His famed harshness everyone fears, but his infants cast out. Eyes closed, opened to primitive fantasy, the habit of the solitary ones put to nothing. The great monarch chastising their frenzy, sacking the church's treasure in front of them. The body without soul suffers no more. The day of death, born anew. Happy the divine spirit makes, the eternal word plain to see. At Tours, Fort St. John, guards with penetrating eyes discover the great serene lady afar, she and her suite entering the port as sovereign power, combat feigned. Monarch killed, just after Castor Pollux en Nef, astral comet trail. Public funds emptied by land and sea. Pisa, Asti, Ferrara, Turin, travel prohibited. Naples, Palermo, Sicily, Syracuse, new tyrants, sky flashing fires, army from London, Gand, Bruxelles, and Suez, great slaughter, triumphant festivities. The field of the Vestal Virgin's temple, not distant from Elne and the mountainous Pyrenees. Evil within the great conduit hidden, rivers freezing, rotting vines, north written. Raging new and sudden rain, inflicting suffering on two armies. Rock fires from heaven, makes the sea stony. Sudden death of 7 by land and sea. Newcomers building place without defense, occupying the place uninhabited, taking at pleasure meadows, houses, fields, towns. Famine, plague, war, acres long to labor. In diverse places, brothers and sisters held captive find themselves paraded before the monarch. His attentive offspring they contemplate, seeing unpleasant marks on chin, forehead, and nose. The ambassador in Bihrem sent as envoy, halfway there, repulsed by men unknown. Reinforcements come, 4 triremes of like, in cords and chains, Negrepont taken. The camp Aesop is leaving Europe, joining near the submerged island. The ranks of Arton's fleet fold up. By the navel of the world, much greater voice substituted. One bird driving out the palace birds. Soon after, the prince forewarned. Although the enemy is pushed beyond the river, seized outside by a bird suspended. Beasts ferocious with hunger, swimming across rivers. The greater part of the battle is against Hyster, the Great One, dragged in a cage of iron, when the Germanic child observes nothing. The foreign guard betrays the fortress. Hopeful illusion of much higher marriage. Guard deceived. Fort taken in fray. Loire, Saône, Rhône, Garonne. Murderous outrage. Because the city shows favor to the Great One who loses the field of battle, fleeing the Po front, the Ticino pours forth. Blood, fires, slaying, drowning in cutting blows. The divine word of heaven will afflict. He will not be able to proceed much further. The unsealed secret closed up, such that they tread upon and before it. The last but one to have the surname of the prophet takes Diana for his day of rest. Long ramblings by frenetic head, of impositions delivering a great people. The Easterner from his seat comes out, passing the Apennine Mountains to see France, crossing through the sky. The rains and snow, and striking everyone with his rod. Terror to all mankind, one who the infernal gods of Hannibal raised to life again. Never horror more or recorded worse to befall Rome by Babel. In Campania, the Volturnus River flood as much that one not sees the fields for water. Before and after endless rains, except for trees, no green seen. Milk, blood, and frogs hail down on Dalmatia, conflict given, epidemic near Baleine, cry made great through all Slavonia. Then born a monster within Ravenna near. From Verona descends the torrent, its flow guided into the Po. Great wreckage, no less in Garonne, when those of Genoa their country march. Senseless rage of furious combat. Two brothers at the table blaze steel. They parted, wounded, strangely. Their savage duel comes to harm France. Fire at night within two lodgings, many within suffocating and roasting. It is happening near two rivers, son, archer, and goat, all death-like. Letters of the great prophet taken fall into the hands of the tyrant, his enterprise to deceive the king. But trouble him, his theft will. Of this great number sent to aid those in the fort besieged, them all devoured by plague and famine, except 70, who will be afflicted yet. Monarchs make accord, a great number condemned, but one of them is distressed by this event, that together, always moaning. A year before the Italian conflict, Germans, French, Spanish for the fort, the state school collapses, where, except for a few, suffocated to death. A little thereafter, not long interval, a great tumult by land and sea. Much greater are the naval battles. Violent fires make more damage. Blazes the great star 7 days. Cloud makes 2 suns appear. The big mastiff howls all night. When the great pontiff his country changes. Cock, dogs, and cats feasting full with blood from the wound of the tyrant found dead. Legs and arms broken at another's bed. He who feared death not, cruel death. During the appearance of the bearded star, the 3 great princes enemies make. Struck from the sky, earthly peace trembles. Po, Tiber floods, serpent put upon the shore. The eagle settles around the tents, chased by other birds around, when noise of cymbals, horns, and bells. Then the senseless lady restored to sense. Heaven weeps too much for the androgyne procreation. Near of heaven human bloodshed, by death too late, a great race reborn. Late and soon comes the aid awaited. After great human tragedy, even greater approaches. The great motor of the ages starts an age anew. It rains blood, milk, famine, iron, and plague. In the sky running fire, sparks long trailing. Grieving the great old enemy dead from poison, the sovereigns by the infinite submit, raining stones hiding under the fleece, by death articles alleged in vain. The great army passes the mountain, Saturn in the archer turning to Piscean Mars. In the heads of salmon, poison hidden, their leader hanged with sail thread. The counselors of the premier monopoly, the conquerors seduced by the Maltese, Rhodes, Byzantium for their region exposed, land needed, pursued as they flee. When those of Hainault, of Gand, and of Bruxelles see the siege at Langres put, behind their flanks cruel warfare, the old plague worse than the enemy. blood of the just makes mistake at London. In 23, the sixes burnt by lightning fire. The ancient dame falls from her high place. Many of the same sect killed. Many nights the earth will quake. In spring, 2 successive violent stresses. Corinth and Ephesus swim in 2 seas. 2 valiant combatants make war. The great plague of the Maritime city. Of death not cease, nor be avenged. Innocent scapegoats taken and damned without crime. The great dame not outraged by pretense. Through foreign people afar from Roman shore, their great sea city troubled sore. Handless girl, too much of differing domain. Prince taken, the lock not picked. In the conflict, the great one, whom was little worth, at his end commits an astonishing deed, while Venice sees full well what is needed. In the banquet, he stabs the haughty one. He whom neither plague nor sword could destroy, dies in the rain, summit struck from high. The abbot dies when he sees ruined those of the wreckage trying to grasp the reef. Before battle, the great wall falls. Death to the great one, death too sudden and lamented. Born imperfect, the most part swims. The ground stained near the river of blood. Without foot nor hand, by sharp and strong tooth, through the throng to the fort of the pig and elder born, treacherous transport near the portal. Shining moon, little great one taken. The French fleet, supported by the great guard of great Neptune and his trident soldiers, Provence preyed upon, and to sustain a great horde, more war at Narbonne with javelins and darts. The Punic faith broken in the east, Ganges, Indus and Rhone, Loire and Tagus changed when the mule's hunger is satiated. Fleet dispersed, blood and bodies float. Bravo, you of the Thames, Gironde and Rochelle. Oh, Trojan blood, Mars at the port of the arrow. Behind the river, scaling the fort, points of fire. Great slaughter in the breach. Mabus comes, dies soon after. Of people and beasts' horrible undoing, suddenly one sees great vengeance, hundred and thirst hunger, when the comet run. distance. Not much of Italy the French subjugate. Bloody strife, Po, Marne and Seine, Parma. He prepares the great war against them. He loses his life, I the least, at the war. The people of Geneva drying up with hunger and thirst. Hope near at hand comes to fail. Savanian law on the point of trembling. The great port cannot receive the fleet. Northern lands, great calamity, through the west and Lombardy. Church afire, plague and captivity. Mercury in Sagittarius, Saturn reaps. Through great danger, the captive escapes. Great his fortune changed in a short time. The people trapped in the palace. The city besieged by good omen. Through the duel, the blonde one compromises the fork-nosed one, chasing him out. The exiles within restored, the strongest committed to the marine places. The efforts are great in the north. The gate of the ocean is opened. The kingdom of the isles is restored. Discovered by sail, London trembles. The French king, by Celtic right, sees the mighty monarchy in discord, his sceptre flourishing upon three parts, against the cape of the great hierarchy. The dart from the sky, making its extension. Killed mid-sentence, great execution. The stone in the tree, haughty people surrendering. Brute human monsters, purging expiation. Exiles coming into Sicily to deliver the strong nation from hunger. The Celts fail at daybreak. The king sees reason. Life granted them. Celtic army vexed in Italy. Conflict on all sides, great loss. Fleeing those of Rome. Oh, France repulsed. Near Ticino, Rubicon, uncertain battle. From Lake Garda shore to Lake Fucino, from Geneva taken to Orginon port, born with three arms, predicted warlike image, three crowns to great Endymion. From Sens, from Autun, they come as far as the Rhône to go further toward the Pyrenees mountains, the people from Ancona distancing. By land and sea follows great equipage. The noise of a rare bird heard in the pipe of the breathing floor. Bushels of wheat rise so high, like cannibals, man eating man. Lightning in Burgundy, signifying a portentous deed. beyond that of skillful artifice. Sacristan, made lame by their senate, making the affair known to the enemies. Repulsed by firings, pitchfire, bows, cries screaming at midnight through broken walls to within, traitors fleeing through underground tunnels. The great Neptune of the deep of the sea, with African race and French blood mixed, sailing too late, the isles bleed. More harm than ill, concealed secret. The frizzled black beard skillfully subjugates the cruel and haughty people. The great Shiren taking afar all those captured by the banner of Selene. After conflict, soft rest contrived by the eloquence of the wounded one, denying deliverance of the great ones, restored to the enemies at the proper time. Fire from the sky, city almost burned up, the urn is threatening Deucalion again, Sardinia vexed by Punic foist, Libra leaves her phaeton. Through hunger the prey makes the wolf prisoner, the assailant in extreme distress. The last before the air, the great one not escaping in crowds' midst. Great lions' mighty trade declining, turning mostly to former ruin, prey to soldiers harvesting as plunder through the Jura mountains and Switzerland, misty rain. Not a drop of rain for 6 months, 9 days, between Campania, Siena, Florence, Tuscany, the strange tongue overrunning Dalmatian land, spoiling all the country. The old full beard, under statute severe, makes at Lyon over the Celtic eagle. Too far, the little great one perseveres. Noisy arms in the sky. Red is the Ligurian Sea. Fleet wrecked near Adriatic waters. Earth trembles. Moved upon the air and put on land. Egypt, fearing the Mahometan advance, sending the herald to surrender call. From a remote region comes a German prince upon a golden throne. The servitude and waters meet, the lady in servitude, her time no more adored. A great catastrophic action complete. That of the 5th, the 7th name is. Of a 3rd, a great foreign warrior. A ram protects neither Paris nor Aix. Two great masters friends become. Their great power increased this day. The new land is at its highest peak. The number is recounted to the Bloody One. Through life and death, Hungary's realm changing. The low more harsh than servitude. Their capital cries out, howling, lamenting. Castor and Pollux, enemies in the arena. A great fire at sunrise, its roar and light extending to the north. Within the circle, mortal screams. Through steel, fire, hunger, death awaits them. Heaven's golden fire seen on earth, struck of highborn, marvelous deed done. Great human slaughter. The Great One's nephew is taken, death made spectacle. 41 escapes. Death threatens very near the Tiber, shortly before great inundation. The chief of the ship taken, in the bilges put. Conflagration, castle, palace. Great Paul, great evil through France received. Vain terror to the Maritime lion. Infinite numbers of people crossing the sea. 250,000 cannot escape. Populous places uninhabitable, fields being divided and marked, kingdoms given to those incapable of being prudent. Great brothers feud, death. A flaming torch in the night sky, near the source of the Rhone. Hunger, war, aid too late. Persia turning to invade Macedonia. Pontiff of Rome, beware of approaching the city. 2 rivers flow. Your blood is spat there when the rose blooms. You and yours. Blood-spattered face, sacrificed victim nearby. Jupiter thunders in Leo portentously. Put to death for the bride. Roman land vexed too much by the French as the oracle interpreted. Celtic nation fear the hour. North wind the fleet pushes too far. In the Isles, tumultuous horrors, hearing only the sound of war. Plundering assault so great, joining together, the League formed this day.